Twitter Live, and we will start here in about 30 seconds. Okay, great. We're going to get started. Thank you so much, media, for joining today. We are live on the LA Sparks Twitter for those tuning in remote. We are so excited as an organization to welcome back Chiney Ogwumike and reintroduce her to all our local national media this morning. We're going to jump right into questions and get started. So we will start with Sabrina Merchant and SB Nation.
Hey, Chiney. Congratulations on coming back. Happy to have you back. I'm curious, we've seen these, Instagram posts of you working on your game over the last few weeks or so. How are you trying to evolve, going into your next season with Sparks?
Hey, Sabrina. Great chatting with you again. I'm really excited to hit the court. I know I have like a very loud front-facing job when it comes to off the court, but it's hard for me to sort of share that work because that's probably like been the most fun. And so, getting back on the court and just rebuilding my body, taking the time it's needed to rest, knowing that, my journey has been different, has allowed me to just really go back to square one with my game and work on the things that I really need to work on, whether it is, mid-range shooting and three-point shooting, just skill work. But most importantly, the number one thing that I've been trying to focus on is reading the defense, just one-on-one scenarios, being more efficient as someone that's looking to expand my game. So it's been like back to the basics, working on my weaknesses, trying to turn them into strengths, and just, getting back to being a free-flowing hooper, the way I started the game. So it's been a nice reset, and it's been fun. It's been what's been going on low key the last few months, and I'm glad to, continue my progressions, but now with the team again.
Thanks, Sabrina. We'll go to Doug Feinberg with the AP.
Hello, my friend. Good to see you. My question is this. All of us have 24 hours in a day to live our life, and you do like 1,000 things more than anyone else in your 24 hours. How do you manage to do that and still be able to play basketball at such a high level? And how are you going to be able to balance all this come the season with your awesome job on the radio and other things you do?
Hey, Dougie, what's good? Dougie, long time. Thank you so much. I'm not going to lie. It's not easy, but I think because my two jobs, and I do jobs with my fingers, sorry, are really fun. And I say three as a member of the union, the EC, the WNBA, they're just all passions of mine, and they all stem from, basketball. So it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like working out, whether it's just preparing my mind for TV or preparing my body for a workout or preparing myself thinking about how we're going to keep making strides as a league overall with the EC. But I guess the best way I can sort of give you an example, I'm just going to give you what my day is like on the regular. I wake up around 5:36. From 6 to 7, I'm typically prepping for what is to come with broadcast. 7 to 9, I'm working out here in LA with a great proactive sports group. And then now building the back end into my workouts into on-court stuff. 9 to 11, 3 days a week, I make sure I get back in time so I can do Sports Center. In the middle of that, at 10 a.m., I have my pre-show meeting for radio. And then around noon, I sort of reset with preparing for the radio show, because you guys know your girl isn't just talking about basketball anymore. It's also football. Like, I know I'm getting ready to talk about JJ Watt on radio, which is fun today. And then from 12 to 1, just prepping for the radio show, catching up on meetings here and there. And then 1 to 4, Pacific, I'm on the radio. And then 4 to 5, I'm sort of either trying to do something like a yoga or get back in the gym for Shots Up. And then towards the evening, I'm watching games. And now it's forced me to be a grandma. And so I go to sleep super early. And typically I end my night watching something. Like I tried watching The Vanishing at Cecil Hotel, and that just, I couldn't do it. I had to watch that with daylight, my blinds open. And so it's been, it's a grind. It's a different grind. And so like, that's typically the schedule 3 days a week. And then the other 2 days, sometimes I'll put in more TV depending on if it's a jump day, or I'll switch it up. Like NECA got me on the Mega Former, which is this crazy Pilates. And so I'll use that time there. So it's just balancing the hours. The hours are typically the same, but it's what I do with the hours. And it doesn't feel like work. It just, I feel immensely grateful to have a position where I can do both, you know, and my team and my, team at ESPN too, feel value in seeing someone do both. So it's cool. It's really cool. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you, Doug. We'll go over to Miriam Swanson with the LA Daily News.
Hey, Chiney, welcome back.
What's up?
Hey, so I have a question, a NECA question for you. Obviously, she's been here in LA and been a star and been a huge part of what this organization has done for a long time, but it's a little different now. How do you see her role changing, and what does it kind of mean for her to be like the face of the franchise now?
One thing I love about NECA is nothing's going to change when it comes to NECA. No matter who she's around, the environment she's in, NECA is just NECA. You know, she's a natural born leader. And I am most qualified to say that because she's led me ever since I've taken my first breath of life. And I continue to, you know, have fun riding her coattails and following my big sis through every step of the way. And so I don't think anything will change. That's the beauty of NECA. She leads on the court, she goes hard every possession on both ends. And she leads off the court, you know, trying to her best to elevate and uplift and continuing to, you know, push boundaries when it comes to our league, our players as a whole. And so that's the one thing that has, like, you know, it's probably the easiest answer here, because you're going to get the same NECA. And I am excited to help be a part of a team that'll allow her to continue to shine. Hopefully, you know, based on where things go. You never know.
True.
Thank you. Thanks, Miriam. We'll go over to Howard Megdal with the New York Times.
Hey, Chiney, congratulations. Always good to chat with you.
Hey, Howard.
I wanted to ask you about on the court specifically, and obviously, you know, you're doing it all, you know, but you are also a player, was a top overall pick, a two-time All-Star, you know, somebody who has been dominant on the court. And I wonder how much your conversations with Derek and you're thinking about where you are in your career is about reestablishing that level of game as you go to 2021 and beyond.
Sure. Thank you, Howard. I'm not going to lie, you know, transitioning to a new team a couple years ago was probably more challenging than I even thought. And you guys know that, like, I'm the type of person that will try to get nitty and gritty, you know, take the charge, grab the rebound, set the hard pick, run the lane. And so just trying to find my place was harder than I thought. And I think now, having the experience, the year under my belt, playing, you know, in Staples, understanding Coach Fish, getting back with my sis, and just understanding who the Los Angeles Sparks are, what our goals are, the standard that we hold on and off the court, I feel so much more at ease to be able to be me in a way that maybe I didn't know that I wasn't ready for that a year or so ago, or I was trying to navigate that and trying to figure that out, you know? And so I think when it comes to on the court, it's just about being my best self, and I'm accountable, you know, personally for that, because at the professional level, how are you going to grow? You have to get in the gym and grind. And while my time might be a little more limited to do that, it's still, as you probably heard, the number one priority to me, you know, and just being able to go and, like, I think maybe sitting in the seat and working on TV and all that type of stuff gives me an even greater appreciation to be able to just play the game that I love, because all I do right now is talk about it. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity again, and just getting back to that feeling, which I know I was trying to find. And, you know, any player that switches teams, probably understands that. And so now I know exactly, like, LA is my home. I mean, Houston's home, but y'all know what I'm saying. Fish is my coach, you know, and I know this team now, you know, in a way that I didn't know before. And now I sort of can approach it the way I feel like will be best for my success.
Thanks, Howard. We'll go to Nick Hamilton with Nightcast Media.
Hey, Chiney, welcome back.
What's good, Nick? I love how it's everybody I know. What's goody?
Yeah, you know, that's always a great thing. So I want to ask you, obviously coming back into the season, you took last season off when the team went through the bubble, but now that the team is back home in Los Angeles, you watch a lot of film, obviously. You said you watch a lot of basketball. So how much does that help you mentally to prepare for the season? And how much different do you think this team is going to be now that you guys are without Chelsea Gray and Candace Parker?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it was probably one of the hardest decisions for me to have to opt out of the bubble. And it's just super ironic because we spent off the heels of our CBA, you know, a year ago in January, to transitioning to negotiating to getting, you know, a season to happen and to be a part of that full negotiation. And then in the 11th hour to realize, hold up, Chiney, have you thought about yourself here in this? Like, have you thought about what you've overcome and how you need probably, like, you know, 8 to 10 weeks on the court to make sure with our doctors who we weren't seeing at the time because of, you know, pandemic, and like, are you ready for this? And I just think having the support of the team saying, Chiney, you need to put your body first. Like, you've overcome so much. And we know that the runway is different this year. To have that kind of support really just gave me so much ease of mind. And so watching the Sparks in the bubble, obviously it was so much fun to see them because, you know, we have a unique fight that I feel like a lot of teams don't have in regard of, like, the, you know, just how we play the game, how we approach it, and how we are never consider ourselves down and out. We have a standard of excellence, and to not be a part of that and to not help. And I'd be watching like, man, like, I want to go in there and like set some screens, get some rebounds, like provide some energy. It just was hard for me. But at the same time, what the women were doing just was incredible overall. And so I think, you know, this new team might have new faces, but at the same time, the mindset is still the same. It's, you know, pursuing championships, playing to our best of our ability, individually and collectively. And we've always known that no matter who's out there, the mission remains the same. And so I think that's just the energy that I'm bringing back. And, you know, everyone will probably still be on making the most of what we have. And we have a lot still.
Thanks, Nick. We'll go to Helene Elliott with the LA Times.
Hi, just wanted to ask, with all these other wonderful opportunities that you have out there and the work that you did last year while you weren't playing, did it ever cross your mind to not come back and play?
Helene, that's a hilarious question. Because one of the most annoying things I ever hear, because I work, you know, people see the TV and they, you know, our amazing women are overseas playing. They always forget, like, oh, you know, there are women hoopers that play 24/7. And so, or the ones that are here are training 24/7. Like, oh, like, did you retire? I was like, no, bro, like, I just opted out this season. And I know a lot of people will bring these questions because I've missed a couple of seasons due to injury. So it's like, not like I've had that consistency. But yeah, I mean, I never once wavered. I'm always going to train. Like, that just has always been a part of my routine. When the team was in the bubble, it was getting healthy as possible so that the next season I'll be in a better position than I was before. It's, like I said, waking up early and making it a part of my daily, you know, routine. And so it's never crossed my mind, even though a lot of people have asked, and I just sort of brush it off as like, oh, like, they just know me probably on TV or broadcast, not necessarily, you know, they haven't been following the years past. But yeah, I'm just glad that being on the court with the Sparks will give a resounding answer.
Thanks, Helene. We'll go over to Brady Klopper with SB Nation.
Hey, Chiney, congrats on the contract. Welcome back.
Hey, Brady.
You've answered, you know, you've spoken on this in a few other questions here, but I'm wondering, with opting out of last year, not playing overseas anymore, it's been, you know, about a year and a half or so since you played a game. And I'm assuming with the pandemic that it's a lot harder to get some run in with some pickup games and whatnot. What's that been like to go that long without being able to have the normal structure of a season? And how nice is it to have a year off where you can actually focus on the game, whereas in the last years off, you haven't been focusing on rehabbing?
Yeah, well, I mean, my journey with the WNBA has not been a linear line. So again, I got drafted in 2014, had an amazing year with the Sun, got injured playing overseas, come back, had another great year, got injured again overseas in China. And so I've had extended periods of having to not have access to a gym the way I'd want to wake up and go and hoop like everyone else could. And so I think that's why I probably have a huge appreciation to not only play the game, but talk about the game, because I know it can be taken away at any time. And I think a lot of athletes sort of came to that feeling of recognition in, the pandemic, over the last months, that I sort of knew just based on my injury history, what the challenges of that could be. And so going into this, year and a half of not playing, it's familiar territory because I've known exactly what that progression looks like and just how to listen to my body. And also, the experience of, my sister's one of the best at finding cutting edge ways to stay top tier. And so, just finding different resources for me to focus on and just keep things fresh in my mind. And so this is just part of my journey, which I've realized is not necessarily the most ideal, but it is one that I own. And it's helped build my character when it comes to the injury and the long pauses in between seasons. So every time I get back, I'm like, it's lit, like I'm back. And so I guess I have that same anticipation going into this year. And when it comes to training, it's not been easy, but it's not been easy for anyone, quite frankly, just to get access to a gym. And so having Coach Fish, who as a very, very well-respected professional athlete out here in Los Angeles, being able to pull some strings, and I'm working with state-of-the-art strength and conditioning teams. And that, like, even, with new gyms that are being built and having access to those, it's been uniquely to my favor, just being here in LA and being able to work with, the best of the best. I work with a guy in Beverly Hills by the name of Fabrice Coutier, who trains Rudy Gobert, Kyle Kuzma, Tony Parker, long time, Nikola Vucevic. So those are at my resources. So, it's been cool because now I have it all within a nice little, sometimes to go training, it's like an hour away, but within my backyard. And so I really am grateful for that.
Thank you. We'll go over to Christina Williams with Girls Talk Sports.
Good afternoon, Janae. Congrats on re-signing. So today is the first month of Women's History Month, the first day of Women's History Month, sorry. What woman empowers or inspires you, and what does it mean to you to be a woman athlete?
What up, Christina? When you gonna get me on Clubhouse, sis? You say you're gonna get me
Listen,
on?
I'll be on tomorrow with Nick. Gina just hit me up, so I'll be on for tomorrow with you guys.
I don't know if that's enough notice for me, but I appreciate that. We gonna make it happen, okay? Yo,
no, but you're doing one with Nick tomorrow, right? Are you not doing that?
Is that happening? See, I didn't know that was confirmed, but yeah, it's
Okay.
about speaker stuff.
Well,
I'll be on there.
I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be on the stage tomorrow with you guys.
Y'all, it's so embarrassing. I pulled into Clubhouse not knowing what it was and just clicked in the group. And then Christina's like, hey, I was like, wait, people can see me when I was like, what? I still need to learn. But to your question, yes, it's a very, very special day, the first day of Women's History Month. And honestly, I get asked this question a lot. It's easy for me. And, I'm very fortunate to be able to have the option to say my family, my mother, my sisters, Sparks legends. Lisa Leslie has been a tremendous mentor to me. But I just want to use this time to just shout out the amazing, incredible women of the WNBA, just period. The 144 women that have not only held it down on the court, but also more importantly, done things off the court that matter most, through our collective solidarity, to be a part of a league that is so much more, even not caring who gets the credit or if we ever get the credit. Now society is starting to see what our power is and what our voice is and what that can translate to, even, going to the highest, stakes in our country. And so Women's History Month is all about the W, for real. It's the W for me.
Thanks, Christina. And thanks to everyone to attending. We got a big group here. We'll go over to John W. Davis, Winsider.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. My #1 YouTube subscriber. Thanks, John. He always supports through.
Oh, all good, all good. So what I wanted to ask you was, the last time we talked before a season, you told me that the Sparks were a super team. So at the start of the 2021 season, some people are projecting the Sparks to be in the bottom 4 of the power rankings, and some people are saying the Sparks might not even make the playoffs in 2021. So with that said, what's your personal opinion and then professional analysis?
Y'all funny. Personal opinion as a member of the Sparks, I don't care what people think, honestly. Like, I know exactly what we are going to try to accomplish this year. And it doesn't matter what other people think, where they put us in the power rankings. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't count on the Utah Jazz as being #1 in the power rankings coming in with my professional. But look what they're doing. And is it largely because of them being a super team? Maybe not. It might be more so because they have an offensive captain and a defensive captain and a really cool coach and a pace that works and shot makers, right? So there's a whole bunch of ways to be productive outside of just an aggregation of talent or accumulation of talent. And so that's what my job has taught me and told me. And as a competitor, I mean, all I personally focus on is bringing my best self each and every day. And I'm really grateful that Fish and the Sparks overall, through our leadership, has allowed me to be able to sort of have both worlds, and push boundaries, and also knowing that like that would translate to hopefully like being able to play free, on the court as well. So I guess that's where I'm at on that. As a competitor, it doesn't matter who's in front of you, it's just what's the task at hand, being your best self and being your best self for your team. And there's a whole lot of ways to be successful, ways that are unpredictable. And that's one of the coolest things about the season. That will be the story of the season, how you build the right way. And I'm excited for us.
Thanks, John. We have time for just a few more today. We'll go to Logan Murdoch with The Ringer.
Shanae, what's happening?
What's up, Lo?
What's up? I got a 2-part question. So I think you kind of answered the first one, but how do you remain a contender with Chelsea not in the mix and Candace not in the mix? And the second part of my question is, did Kayla Johnson come with you as a package deal to Los Angeles?
I've been trying to make that happen for 2 years, y'all. For those who don't know, Kayla Johnson is my best friend. She also works for ESPN, one of the best, probably the best, social producer and digital producer, as a, young Black woman in the industry, just doing her thing. So proud of her. And so I've been trying to have her come out here at West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
She was with me in Connecticut. I saw her in New York. And so now I'm trying to get her out there, and Logan just knows that. But when it comes to the court, I mean, obviously, Chelsea and Candace have been a huge part of the Sparks' success for a number of years. And now as we transition to this new stage, I mean, we still have tremendous talent and leadership, with my big sis. And then the new pieces that we're acquiring, I think you can only be excited, especially if, you're Nneka or myself, with Erica Wheeler, who has just improved her game each and every year, is a fierce competitor. And as a point guard, someone that can just slice and dice and hit you with these pocket passes that are great, and just knows how to just elevate the mindset too of a team to compete, as we saw with Indiana. And then my girl Zowie B, like, I've always been cool with Zowie throughout the league. And so now having that, eclectic, that versatility at the post position overall, with her being a sniper, pretty much a guard and a post body, but also someone that can mix and bang. Like, those are essential pieces that we need to succeed this year. From the point guard, especially playing fast and moving the ball and humming. And then from the post, stretching the defense and playing a little bit more positionless. We know small ball is all the rage nowadays, right? So those two just are on the forefront of my mind. And so it makes me really excited. And Bria as well, knowing her for a hot second in Connecticut, but that versatility and size, as a wing, like while many people might be like, oh, focusing on what we do not have, what we do have actually can hold us together pretty nicely as a team. And I think everyone has a chip on their shoulder here as well.
Show.
Thanks, Lo.
Thanks, Logan. We'll go over to Pepper Pursley with the next.
Hi, Chiney. I'm honored to be able to talk with you today. I wanted to ask you a question about Renee Montgomery. What are your thoughts on there now being a Black female owner of a WNBA team?
Hey, Pepper, what's good? It was really remarkable, and this is where I say it's a testament to the W players for always pushing boundaries and breaking norms. And Renee being a part of the ownership group is exactly what we sort of fight for, you know, representation, visibility, authenticity. And so it's been great to see a lot of players branch out and become people with leadership positions that are necessary in our game, not just, you know, women's hoops, but just in the business of basketball and women in the workplace, period. And I know she's probably not like, I think Lisa Leslie also had a high ownership role, just carrying on that legacy. And then we've had female owners, Sheila in Washington as well, that have found tremendous levels of success. So just adding to the amount of remarkable women that we've had throughout, you know, the years when it comes to the 25th season upcoming of the W, and building upon that and finding ways to continue to give back to the game. Renee is just one of many, and what Renee has been able to do is tremendous as she transitions from player to now, you know, owner.
Thank you.
Anytime, Pepper.
Thanks, Pepper. Our last two, we'll go to Jim Alexander with the LA Daily News. Go ahead, Jim.
There we go. Chiney, thank you for doing this and welcome back. A couple things regarding the opt-out year. How much basketball activity were you really able to do during last season? And how much thought have you given to the fact that taking that year off may have extended your career at the back end?
Now you sound like my mom. Yeah. No, thank you, Jim. Yeah, it was, again, the hardest thing, because like, who would sit through months and months of negotiation and fight and like making sure we have the right platform, and then like, oh snap. So it really hurt me. It was heartbreaking for me to have to opt out, but I know that it was the right thing, like you mentioned, for my body, just because given my history, I don't want to put it in unnecessary risk, knowing that I want to be great for the long term. And so I actually haven't thought about that as much, but like my mom says it like, hey, this is good, like rest is good. I was like, no, mom, I was like fighting all those instincts and stuff. But it was hard to get into a gym, but I was fortunate to have people help me. And so I'm really grateful, because I know a lot of people didn't have that type of access outside of the bubble. And so just being able to go from square one, work on my body, work on my movement, work on my mechanics, and then, all right, work on my left hand, work on my dribbling, work on my footwork, work on my spot shooting, you know, and work on my movement on the perimeter, work on my passing. So it's been step by step, and it's been slow, but that's the only way I go, because I know that slow means sustainable when it comes to body and me. And so that's just how I have to move. And I'm grateful, because I still have years ahead. And hopefully, like you said, that break might have hurt, like heartbreak, but it might be the better thing for me in the long term.
Thanks, Jim. I do have a hand up here from ESPN Radio, so we'll call on them.
Oh, no.
Hey, this is Mike Golick Jr. from ESPN Radio. First time, long time. No real question. Just wanted to say we're all really excited for Chiney. See her get back on the court. She's been a great teammate for all of us, and we've been really fortunate to have her right now and to continue to have her. But we're excited to see her with her first love. I do want to ask if you've thought any more about taking up my offer to come and be the full-time ball boy and water boy for the LA Sparks. Thanks.
Y'all, I don't know why you guys didn't mute him. Oh my gosh. Y'all see what I have to deal with? No, for real. He's like a sweetheart. He said, oh, he's like my second love because I don't have a boo. So that's Junior. I can't believe they did that. Well, there you go. Look at that. Those are my people.
Thank you so much, Mike. And I know, Sinead, you have to get ready for a huge day ahead. So thanks to all the media.
Eli, I'm coming for you for that. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining media. We will send out a recording to this. And thanks again, Sinead.
Y'all got me. Oh my Lord. No, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being there on my journey and making everything possible for me and believing in me for everything, not just on the court, but also off the court. It really means the most. You guys keep me going. So I will see y'all soon.
All right. Bye.